Welcome back. What an evening. Friday evening. I'm just going down here to move a fence now to bring my cows for milking this evening. I hope you can hear me. Bit windy. Didn't bring a mic. The story of my life. But before we go any further, we were at the ploughing. Rained, yes, it rained quite heavy, but it didn't spoil our day. And we got to meet. That's not the right way of putting it. We got the pride of our life. But no, that's not even the right way of putting it. We got the best shock of our lives. You make these videos and you look face to face to the camera here, standing in a field of grass. Thankfully there's grass, well, there's not a noise apart from the wind blowing behind me. I stand in the tree and try to block that one, but you lose connection of kind of many people are behind that camera, because to me I'm just talking to a camera, and that's sometimes the way I just see it. And when you go to an event like that, which would have been our first major event since we started this whole thing, because remember this all kind of started during COVID, or just maybe slightly before COVID, or whatever it was. So we weren't used to that. We've never experienced it before. And then the more we got our eyes opened, and it was just incredible. So thank you to everybody who came up and said hello. I'm sorry, I know readily there was people behind me that I didn't get to say hello to or didn't get to shake their hand, and I'm really sorry about that. But it was really, really nice to meet you all, and I really, really appreciate it. Absolutely, to the highest level, and really just honoured to be able to, I don't know, bring some enjoyment into your house or anything, whatever it is. I'm honoured to do that. Anyway folks, let's get into the video. Right, move this fence for starters. My old fence is broken, reel is broken, the gears is gone in my reel, and it's quite broken, and that's my own fault. The least we say about that, the better. So I split that in two. I have two grazings out of this field, so they will come in here tomorrow because it's a bigger section and there's more cover on that. And the bottom side we'll do them Sunday, so Saturday and Sunday. Then up here we have our night paddocks. Well, we don't really have night paddocks, but I'm calling it a night paddock now because that's what's going tonight. I was going to get in this whole paddock tonight, but there's actually more grass in it. Grass has grew well in the last couple of days. So what I might do is I might split it in two, because if I can split that in two and get 2 nights instead of one in the month of September, or late September, that's exactly what I'll do. So that's what I will do. A fence over there, I'll bring it with me now and I'm picking up the cows. And yeah, we'll do that. This grass here, do you remember the video we done where the real heavy rain came in the beginning of the year and it got absolutely destroyed? This is where we done all our overseeding along the top, and it's different grass that's at the bottom. It's lovely fresh grass. It looks like a reseeded patch apart from the weeds. Don't look at those, we don't want to see those. It's definitely a brilliant tool to have on the farm. It works, and that's all that matters. It doesn't matter what it looks like or how fancy it looks behind a tractor. It works, and that's the main thing. Right, me ladies, just do in there. There we go. Right. You ever notice this time of year when fields are well grazed, you get this white look on a field? You just know it's the time of year when you see that. Cows are eating stuff a lot cleaner, they're a lot hungrier as well, but they're fine, they're still content. I'll come in here tomorrow and I will dribble bar this on the far side, because it was only grazed 2 days prior, and get it going, get another grazing or two out of it. Didn't realise there was only 3 pegs of that fence, so I'll have to come back over here before the cows get out from milking. Stick 2 more pegs on that, and that'll be the fence for the night. So tomorrow morning, when I let them out here, I leave this opened, because all I have to do then is lift that fence after milking tomorrow, and that's it ready for tomorrow night. And when I bring them in the morning, I just open the gate over here, and they'll go straight in there, ready for tomorrow. Just looking down on the top of our hill, and I see a fox just sitting on the very top of it. So I tried to call him in, just the back of my palm in my hands, just for the crack of it, to see would he come down. He wasn't coming down, and then realised I spent about 5 minutes calling a plastic bag. Oh yeah, just before I do start milking, someone asked me a good question, and I meant to actually address it before myself. It's about this entrance coming out of here. So I done a milking video, milking routine that morning, and people seen the cows coming out and then wondered, God, the cows have to turn and come down here, and it kind of they're right, it does kind of hold cows back, but there is a reason for this whole madness. And although it's hard to fully understand it unless you're actually working here and kind of see the way the thing works, but you notice how low this floor is compared to the yard floor is compared to the level of the house itself. Now, we couldn't do anything about that because when we go level across, it's actually nearly underneath the ground over there. So we've very little of a fall on our parlour floor. It's sometimes a bit of a pain because you're trying to wash out the parlour and the water feels like it's coming back against you. So then the guys were originally going to put in a ramp here where cows would just come straight out, and yes, that would empty the parlour much quicker, the flow would be much better. The problem with that is the fall that would be from here to here would definitely have to have a ramp of some sort, probably the same as this here, just coming straight out. The reason I didn't do that was very simple. I was afraid of cattle falling. When cattle come out there summertime and everything's just covered in dung and just really greasy and you know that slippy yard, cows would come out there, two legs go underneath them and fall in the yard, and that was kind of the main reason. Now my cows are quiet, they're fairly quiet, and they're used to coming out there, and you're amazed the way the cows kind of, they remember a routine. So they come out there, turn around, does a zigzag, which is just slows the whole process down, so that when they get out to here, they don't fall. And it does work, although it might be slower for cows going out. I'm not really in a rush to get them out, they're not causing any harm, they're just going out at their ease, and no cow has ever fallen. In the 12-13 years this parlour's been up. Now the byre that used to be here, we used to have a door in a similar place. The byre was a bit lower on the ground, but there was a ramp coming out of it, slightly. And that little ramp, although it was maybe only that much of a difference in floor level, we had several cows used to fall. One cow did actually fall and break her hip, and I remember it like it was yesterday, although it was many years ago. And I said to myself, whenever we're doing this, we're going to change it and put this in, and I'm glad I did. So that's the reason why it looks like that. So maybe you can make some kind of sense out of what I'm trying to explain. It works well because I can open this gate here, across. Now it would be great if I made another little gate I could hang on here and latch into this, and that way if I want a certain cow to be held, or I want a cow to come out here and to put up with a crush or something, maybe cow bulling or whatever, I can open this, run in, let that cow, just hold my hand back, that cow will come out nice and easily out there, close the gate across, and Bob's your uncle, the cow is in. You might see a gate there. Another idea I had was for the cows to come out here, to put a gate here that would latch there, that could be just folded back against this. Cows would come out, if you're a cow bulling or wanted to just inspect a cow, you could open this, this is actually on a hinge, and have a little crush here where it could hold 2 or 3 cows, that if you had an animal bulling or whatever, you can just open this, close this across, and them cows can be run straight up here. Or even if you were clipping their tails or something and someone out here clipping them as you were milking them. They're just kind of ideas that run through my head. I always keep be thinking of how you can make things a little bit easier. So it might make sense to some, and some might say, no, I wouldn't do that. But that's just every man's to their own. But that's the reason I wanted to explain that, because a fella did ask me online about it, and I said I would explain it, and hopefully kind of grasp now what I'm talking about. Right, so it's the following morning. We're just heading over here to the farm. There's the heifers over there across the hedge, and we've got the mower on, well, topper slash mower. We've done very little chopping this year. From, I suppose, the beginning of August onwards, I've done very, very little, practically none. And that's because the feeds have been so dry, cows are eating, the paddocks really nice and bare, and there's no point in wasting diesel going in, especially when the ground was so dry and topping it. It just wouldn't have been really much benefit. So that's the reason it hasn't been on. It's all crusted up, bits of grass growing out of it and everything. But I'm going to chop when these cows come off, because they've been on a while. There's lots of old rough dung and things on top of it. This here, more than just topping it, level out all that old dung and clean the whole paddock up, and we get a nice shoot of fresh grass coming up and get a coat of slurry on it. And just get another grazing out of it. And now the weather's dry, because we might as well keep the cattle as long as we can. Ground is in great condition for the time here, so we better make the most out of it. Right, well that's them fed and moved. I have to go over there and check, make sure over that drinker that I put up the fence, and I can see it from here. I haven't. So the gate's wide open, so I have to go and close that. It's probably going to get wetter now, and they've loads of shelter under those trees, and they couldn't be happier in here. It's a nice paddock for calves. They all seem to do fairly well on it. So that's them happy in. I'm going to go over and close this gate, and then I want to top this whole paddock here and get it ready for slurry. Right, well I have a handle here on this bucket. Could I not have lowered that? Jeez, make life hard for myself. I have a handle here. Did I bring a handle? Well, I said to myself about 10 times at home, bring a handle. And I brought no handle. Now, I hope there's a handle of some sort on this. At the power back on now. I'll have to be more careful I don't fry anything. There's no power on this one. I'm hoping there's a handle on the end of it. I don't think there is. Oh, or is there? Oh, happy days, there's a handle on it. I only threw that in the grass a couple of weeks ago, and you can see the way the grass has grown. Yeah, it's great to see. And anyway, get some of this grass off this. Look it on here. Happy days. Now, a little bit of trickery I do with my fences. You can see this post here, and it might look like a complicated mess, but there is a mess in the madness. This is coming from the main line, which is coming from the shed behind the tractor. And if I want to, say for instance I have cattle on this side, no cattle down here, no cattle in these paddocks, all I have to do is stop the power from going down, hook that off, hook it onto that steeple, no power going down anywhere then there. We're not wasting any power, so you can just hook it as you like. Don't want power going down there, hook it off, hook it on there. No power runs through this because the power is coming through here onto this and supplying all three of these. So once you unhook them, they're dead. It's just a simple way of doing it without going out and buying any fancy adapters or anything like that, and it works. Right, that's that topped. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to move these heifers down below. You probably could see the strip of grass that was between the two when I was using the drone. The last time I moved these heifers, I mentioned that's what I kind of do. I try to keep them away from mother when I can. So I'm going to go down here now, and I'm going to lift the fence that's actually stopping heifers from coming up. I'm going to leave this one here up that you see. I'm just going to raise it up to the top of the peg, and just lift the one then that's in front of them and let them right up to that. I'm not letting them on any of this. I don't want them on that. I'm going to slurry that and get that for the calves coming again. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick the drone in the air because it's better at looking down. There's nowhere for me to kind of put a camera. It's long out grass. It's too strong for them. You'll see that straight away, but doesn't matter. It has to be it, and they'll clean it. The bottom bit was every bit as strong, and they've it well clean now. And when they've it in about a couple of weeks time, we'll come in and we'll top the whole thing bare, let them eat whatever's left on the ground, and that'll be it for the winter time. Just before I head home, one little thing that was mentioned, well, mentioned quite a lot to me in the last video that I did of the silage, and that was a mistake that I made, and 100% it was a mistake. I'd never stacked bales before, so it's just a learning curve for me, but I kind of had an idea in my head. Look at, you put two bales down the bottom and put one bale in the middle, kind of 50-50 on two bales. I did that up there. You'll see it, probably if you look back in that video, you'll see that I had the same idea there. I put it between each bale, and that way the bale doesn't move side to side. But here, I didn't do that. I took a chance, which probably not going to pay off. I thought the bales were nice and solid and they would sit on top of other. I was never really planning on putting them 3 high, and I knew there wasn't going to be an awful lot of them, so I said, you know what, without taking up too much room, I'll stick them straight on top of other and see what they do. But you look at, if you don't make mistakes, you never really learn anything. So I'll know for again, but if you're ever stacking them yourself, listen to what other people are saying. Put 2 on the bottom, 1 in the middle, keep them away, don't stack them directly on top of other, because this is what can happen. And this is the only one that's fallen forward, but it's fallen forward enough to push this one. The rest of them are falling actually into other. See the way they're more sloped back, and the ones on the far side are the same ish. See the way it kind of sloped in that way? So they'll be grand. So all I'll have to do to fix this, quite simple, won't be tearing a bale or anything. I'll watch this bale, and if it decides it wants to go a little bit further, I'll lift it and I'll drop it down the front here. The other one's fine, and them ones there should be okay, and if they move, I'll lift them as well and just drop them down on the front, and everything's solved then. But another thing as well was the paint. Girl's done an absolutely powerful job on the paint. It saved me quite a while doing it. I've been doing that for years. My father done it before me. It always works, but other people mention blobs of grease. Never tried it, but I hear it's very good and it works. A lot of people do mention it, so it must work. But with the paint on, didn't work this time. Up there, no problem. But look at here. These 2 bales got a real bad doing with them. Pecking, and even here, look. Pulling out the grass through it, probably looking for worms and things. And I seen that 2 days later, so the paint didn't work so well. We haven't got an awful lot of paint on the top of these. That's my fault. I didn't want the girls going up on top of the bales. I said I'd do that myself when I got a chance, and I didn't do it. So yeah, that probably didn't help. So what I've done is I'm going to patch up all them holes now when I'm here, and I've just put this caution electric stuff here. I've loads of it at the house, a roll of it. If I put that around it, I'd say that'll keep them away. We were going to get a net and put it over it, but you know what, I don't think we need it. We might get a net next year if we're going to stack them like that, and stack them, more of them up there at the corner rather than having them the whole way down here. We'll probably stack them next year up there. We'll see how things go. I'm going to head home now, get a cup of coffee. It's just gone 12 o'clock. It's nice to get cattle all sorted now. It's Saturday. That's them sorted now for the next week or more. So, sorry about the wind noise, but before we finish today's video, I came back over here the next morning thinking that the calves would be where I put them, but they weren't. They're coming up to me here alright, but they're in the other paddocks, and they've broken posts. They made a right wee mess around. The broken posts down there as well. They obviously just took a notion of galloping, or something went wrong, and they decided they were going to break a few things. So I'm going to bring them back out here. I'll bring a post over after. 2 posts I think is broken there, and put that back in its place. They must have been fit to see the plane wire and took a run against the plane. I'll put it back up now off camera, get these sorted, because I've another good few jobs laid out today and I didn't actually need them to be broken out. It caused me more hassle today, but anyway, that's the way cattle are. They don't always do what they're supposed to do. So hopefully they'll follow me over here to the trot and we get them out of here and get this sorted. Come on. Wait a minute now, that's not even one of the calves. That's a big heifer. So the heifers are out as well. Yeah, you're a heifer, you're not one of the calves at all. Oh Christ, it gets better now when I look. One of the heifers is in with the calves, and one of the calves is in with the heifers. So they've had a good old bit of partying last night and they made a right bit of mess of themselves. I want you to go back for starters, out of the way. How am I going to do this now? Come on, come on in. Come on, in. 6. Yeah, so she's not supposed to be in there. She's supposed to be in here. And I'm sorry about the wind. Very windy today, so it is. I can easily see when I look down here, the fence down there is broken as well. I thought I was making life easy for myself, but it just turns out now that I give myself a wee bit of a morning's work to do. Well, finally I have them all back in. I'm warm. I'm taking this jacket off. An hour's running after them, but I have them back in. The heifers are back where they're supposed to be. The calves are back where they're supposed to be. It was a bit of a nightmare because none of them wanted to go back into their places. There's a fence that runs down there, down to the road, and that was level. So what must have happened is something startled the calves, or they just took a mad notion and jumped through that fence down there, because probably didn't see it without the tape on it. I have a tape on it now. They run down and then they didn't see another fence that comes across. It's kind of on a steep hill come down, and they were probably into it before they seen it and smashed it down in bits. Took a couple of posts out as well, only pencil posts, or look, they were rotten anyway. And the heifers must have got excited, and they decided to get in on the task, and they jumped across the fence on this side and broke it down. So 5 or 6 posts broke. A lot of fences on the ground, but look at it sorted. It's just one of those things. It hasn't happened in a while. It's not to say it won't happen again. That's farming. That's what cattle do. They don't always do what you want them to do. And this time, that was a prime example of it. Anyway, I thought I'd stick it in at the end of the video. Anyway, folks, see you in the next one. Now, stay there. Stay there.